With reference to the Indian economy, collateral borrowing and lending obligation are instruments of collateral borrowing and lending obligation are instrument of money market. Money market. देखो सिंपल क्वेश्चन था ये मतलब इजी क्वेश्चन था with reference to convertible bond consider the following statement. Government bond market, call money market, treasury bill market, stock market. This is very simple question. Forex and stock market directly eliminated as there are no borrowing or lending in these markets. ये कितना मस्त है पहले पहले उसका संबंध बना के देखिए और जैसे बोरोइंग का संबंध बनना है भाई आप उधार ले सकते हो भाई फॉरेक्स मार्केट में उधार ले सकते हो फॉरेक्स मार्केट होती क्या है देखो सही बात है पहले संबंध बनाओ संबंध बन रहा है तो ठीक है नहीं बन रहा तो मुझे अपने ठीक है इन बॉन्ड मार्केट बॉन्ड इशू बाय द गवर्नमेंट एंड कॉर्पोरेट फॉर बोरोइंग बट collateral generally with no collateral involved thus option thus answer C can only option आंसर 10 आंसर कैन बी ऑप्शन सी ठीक है बेहतरीन एक्टिंग के बादशाह हो जी आप एक्टिंग के बादशाह कोलेट्रलाइज्ड बोरोइंग एंड लैंडिंग ऑब्लिगेशन कोलेट्रलाइज्ड बोरोइंग एंड लैंडिंग ऑब्लिगेशन मतलब बोरोइंग है लेकिन बोरोइंग भी कौन सी है कोलेट्रलाइज जैसे बोरोइंग तो उसमें भी होती है स्टॉक मार्केट बोरोइंग तो इसमें भी है गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड मार्केट में और तुम्हारा गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड बॉन्ड मार्केट में उनको बॉन्ड मार्केट में बोरोइंग भी है, और उसमें कोलेटरलाइज बोरोइंग नहीं है, और लैंडिंग ऑब्लिगेशन was a money market instrument in India, introduced by Clearing Corporation of India Limited to facilitate short-term borrowing and lending among the banks, financial institutions, and other market participants. Collateralized borrowing and lending obligation was collateralized instrument where borrower pledged government security as a collateral. It is primarily cater- catered to entities where were not eligible for RBI liquidity adjustment facility. CBLO was phased out, completely replaced by three-party repo dealing system. Three-party repo dealing system. ठीक है। की कंपोनेंट ऑफ इंडियन मनी मार्केट। इंडियन मनी मार्केट कंपोनेंट सुन लो भाई, देखते हैं कौन कौन से की कंपोनेंट है इंडियन मनी मार्केट के, है ना। की कंपोनेंट ऑफ इंडियन मनी मार्केट, कॉल मनी और नोटिस मनी। ठीक है, कॉल मनी इन्वॉल्व ओवरनाइट बोरिंग एंड लैंडिंग ऑफ फंड। कॉल मनी भाई जरूरत हो गई पैसे की, तुरंत दे दे भाई। ओवर नोटिस मनी भाई, नोटिस दे रहा हूँ 12 से 14 दिन के लिए। अब इसमें कौन कौन से हैं? शेड्यूल कमर्शियल बैंक, रीजनल रूरल बैंक, कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, लैंड डेवलपमेंट। कोऑपरेटिव बैंक भी कर सकते हैं। एंड प्राइमरी डीलर्स आर परमिटेड टू पार्टिसिपेट एज बोथ बोरोयर एंड लेंडर सब्जेक्ट टू RBI गाइडलाइन। कॉल मनी भाई ओवरनाइट के लिए है, नोटिस मनी 2 से 14 दिन के लिए, हाँ 2 से 14 दिन के लिए। और इसके लिए शेड्यूल कमर्शियल बैंक हैं, बट रीजनल रूरल बैंक को छोड़कर। देन आपका ये है एक आपका ये है, क्या नाम है उस भाई का, कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, जो लैंड डेवलपमेंट को छोड़कर बाकी परमिटेड डीलर। ये को RBI ने बोल रखा है भैया तुम भी कर सकते हो यार, जीवन में तुम भी कुछ अपना जीवन बना लो, जाओ मौज लो। कॉल मनी नोटिस मनी हो गया। ये मनी मार्केट के टी बिल, शॉर्ट टर्म डेप्ट इंस्ट्रूमेंट इशू बाय द गवर्नमेंट, मैच्योरिटी 91 days, 182 days and 364 days, issued as at a discount and redeemed at face value upon maturity. Certificate of deposit, negotiable money market instrument issued by scheduled commercial bank and select financial institution, 7 days to 1 year. Other financial instruments, देखो अब जो CD होते हैं सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट, ये फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन भी कर सकते हैं, बैंक भी कर सकते हैं। जो बैंक करेगा
7 दिन से लेकर 1 साल तक, और अदर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन करेंगे 1 साल से लेकर 3 साल तक। कमर्शियल पेपर, unsecured short-term promissory notes issued by a corporation, primary dealer and financial institution. Maturity period 7 days to 1 year. Issued by the corporation. Repurchase agreement, repos and reverse repos. A transaction where one party sells security to another with an agreement to repurchase it at predetermined dates and price. Repo, where transaction one party buy security with an agreement to sell it back at future date. Reverse repo. Cash management bill, introduced in 2010 to meet temporary cash flow mismatch of government. Similar treasury bill with majority less than 91 days. 91 days से तो कम के लिए आपके कैश मैनेजमेंट बिल हो गए। मनी मार्केट फ्यूचर, futures, the future contract based on money market instrument or interest payment such as a 91 treasury bill, 91 days treasury bill, introduced to provide hedging speculation tool for market participants. Regulatory framework, RBI, the RBI see and regulate Indian money market, ensuring stability and liquidity. It employs various monetary policy tools including repo rate, the rate the RBI lends short-term fund to banks, है ना। The reverse repo rate, the rate which the RBI borrow fund from bank. ठीक है। Cash reserve ratio, the percentage of bank total deposit must maintain to RBI. CLR को RBI के पास जमा करना पड़ता है। ऐसा दिसंबर में 4% था। Statutory liquid ratio, the percentage of a bank net demand and time liability must maintain to save liquid assets such as a government security, liquid asset, gold, cash, gold. Current SLR is 18%. However, RBI has authority to raise 40%. Now, new benchmark rate, secured overnight rupee rate has been proposed by RBI based on the recommendation of Lee Board Committee. A Lee Board Committee derived from secured overnight transaction, especially market repo and tri-party repo. Especially these secured segment accounts for 98% of overnight money market volume, making SOR more representative. Financial benchmark India Limited has been asked to RBI to develop and publish SOR. SOR will not immediately MIBOR. There will transition expected both benchmark coexist over a time. Recent development, RBI cut interest rate. February 2025 RBI reduced benchmark repo rate 0.25% to 6.25%, pushing rate in economic growth amid slowing GDP amid elevated inflation. Liquidity management, RBI signaled its intent to maintain liquidity surplus in banking system through bond purchase, forex swap, ensuring effective monetary policy transmission. Which one of the following is not most likely to measure government RBI take to stop the slide of Indian rupee? Which of the following is not most likely to measure most which one of the following is not most likely to measure government RBI take stop the slide Indian rupees? Curbing import, not and not government RBI curbing import for non-essential goods and promote export. देखो अब ये पूछ सकते हैं कि भाई जब पैसा ऊपर उठ रहा हो जब पैसे का एप्रिसिएशन हो रहा हो तो क्या कर सकते हैं हम लोग? उल्टा कर सकते हैं, increasing Indian borrower to issue Indian borrower to issue rupee denoted masala bond, easing condition relating external commercial borrowing, easy condition relating external commercial borrowing, following an explanatory policy. Consider the following action. Consider the following action which the government can take: devaluing the domestic currency, reduction in export subsidy, adopting suitable policy, the greater which attract greater FDI and more fund from FPI. Which of above actions and action help in reducing the government account? Basic concept of currency appreciation and depreciation from NCERT. Theme: Indian economy. Sub-theme: this question being approached by applying some basic common sense. Just think to simple demand supply perspective and you will able to find the right answer. Now this can be approached as if imports are curbed, then it contributes to appreciation of rupees because import need foreign currencies like dollar to import. With less import, dollar will be less in demand, and by common demand and supply economics, we can infer that dollar will depreciate while rupee will appreciate and its slide will stop. ठीक है. Option B again by demand supply economics. Issuance of rupee denominated masala bond will help to slide rupee as a rupee demand will increase through such bond. Option C. Easing condition of external commercial borrowing. Easing condition of external commercial borrowing can enhance it can temporarily reducing foreign it can temporarily reduce foreign deficit. Easing condition of external commercial borrowing can enhance rupee value as it can temporarily reduce manage एक्सटर्नल कमर्शियल बोरोइंग क्या होता है सिंपल लैंग्वेज में समझाओ एक्सटर्नल कमर्शियल बोरोइंग का फॉरेक्स डिफिसिट पर क्या फर्क पड़ता है सही बोल रहे हो ठीक है ये हो गया फॉलोइंग एन एक्सपेंशनरी पॉलिसी में मोर रुपी पंप इनटू इकोनॉमी है ना मोर रुपी पंप इनटू इकोनॉमी हायर मीनिंग हायर इन्फ्लेशन whenever there is inflation in domestic economy whenever the import increase and export decline है ना some logic है ना ये रहा कहा सम कहाँ मर गया क्या why would a total product if it sell the same product in domestic market at higher price due to inflation why would somebody buy from domestic economy why some product is cheaper through export the higher import and lesser export will be depreciate rupee. Option A is incorrect. If demand for non-essential goods is curbed, it will lead lesser demand for USD. Enhance rupee value. B. Incorrect. Masala bonds are directly pledged into INR, assuming it would be led to enhance demand for rupee. Figure raise value vice versa. Other C. Again incorrect. If condition for external commercial borrowing is it would lead to receive more loan in foreign currency, thus help to enhance stock of foreign explanatory Explanatory Expansionary monetary policy means that RBI aim to enhance flow of money, enhance and credit in the market. It may only help further inflation if inflation is already high due to lower interest rate, and thus it will not have excessive rupee. Exchange rate and trade balance. A stronger rupee, exchange rate and trade balance. Exchange rate and trade balance. A stronger rupee make import cheaper and export cost lighter, reducing export competitiveness, and worsening the trade balance. It may increase current account. It may increase current account deficit. A weaker rupee has the opposite effect. It boosts export and discourage import, improving trade balance. If appreciate, example, if rupee appreciate from $80 to $75, Indian goods become more expensive abroad and export fall. Interest rate and exchange rate. Interest rate and exchange rate. Higher domestic interest rate. Higher domestic interest rate. High interest rate and exchange rate. Higher domestic interest rate may attract more foreign capital inflow, especially from FPI. Higher interest rate होगा, increasing demand for rupee, causing rupee appreciation. If RBI raise repo rate, global investor may shift fund to Indian debt market, buying Indian rupee. Rupee appreciate. Inflation and exchange rate. Persistent. High inflation reduce the purchasing power of rupee relatively to other currencies. Leading rupee depreciation to in long run. Example, if Indian inflation is 7%, while US inflation is 3%, over time rupee weakening against reduced value. Capital flow and exchange rate. When foreign capital enter in market, FDI, FPI, ECB, investors convert their dollar, euro into rupees, increasing rupee demand, leading rupee appreciation. ठीक है. Foreign exchange reserve and currency stability. High forex reserve allow to RBI to intervene in the forex market during sharp currency movement, thereby stabilizing the rupee and maintaining investor confidence. Exchange rate and foreign market. A strong rupee makes Indian asset costlier for foreign investors, potentially decreasing FDI. A weaker rupee lowers entry cost and can attract more investment. Example, a US investor may find a 500 crore project in India more attractive if rupee weakens 85 rupees per dollar than 75 rupees per dollar. Capital flows and interest rate. Large capital inflow, especially from FPI, increase liquidity in domestic market, making credit more available, which can push interest rate down. Used unless sterilized by central bank. However, heavy inflow in Indian bond market can lower yield, reducing borrowing costs from business. Current account deficit and Indian and rupee depreciation. A large current account deficit implies India is importing current account deficit and rupee depreciation. A large current account deficit that India is importing than more than its exporting. Increased demand for foreign currency causing pressure on Indian rupee depreciation. Example here. Monetary policy divergence and exchange rate volatility. Monetary policy divergence and exchange rate volatility. When RBI maintain low interest rate while other central banks like Fed tighten monetary policy, the interest rate gap widen that trigger capital flight and rupee weakening. Thank you. With headline answer. In the money multiplier in economy increase with money multiplier का economy increase with one of the following. मनी मल्टीप्लायर का इसका ढूंढना है इंक्रीज के उसमें इंक्रीज इन कैश रिजर्व रेशो, इंक्रीज इन बैंकिंग हैबिट ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, ये तो मुझे पता ही है. Which of the following term indicate mechanism used by commercial banks providing liquidity adjustment facility? एक सेकंड देखते हैं. लिक्विडिटी एडजस्टमेंट फैसिलिटी क्या होती है? अरे यार टेरिटरी लिक्विडिटी रेशियो the lowering of bank rate by more liquidity in money. ये ठीक है. when reserve bank of India when the Reserve Bank of India announced an increase of the cash reserve ratio, what does it means? The commercial this is fairly easy question. Money multiplier fairly easy question. Money multiplier is measure how much additional money can be created by bank through lending. Based money fairly easy question. How fairly money multiplier is measure how much additional money can be created by bank through lending based on the reserves they hold. Measure how much. When people deposit money in bank, they lend it out. However, banks are required to keep a portion of deposit on hand as a reserve. When more people start using banks regularly, the amount of money that bank can use to lend increase. This process can multiply the amount of money in this process can multiply the amount of money in economy. This process can this process Hence the term money multiplier. Option A, increase the cash reserve ratio. And option B, option increase statutory liquidity ratio. Both involve increasing amount of money bank must hold in reserve, which reduce money supply. Increase the population. ठीक है, money multiplier is a ratio of money supply upon monetary base reserve money. ठीक है, it is based on the system of fractional reserve banking. Banks have been given the liberty to keep only fraction of the deposit money as the reserve deposit ratio in their vault, and rest they can lend to others. So additional money is getting created through fractional reserve banking. Reserve deposit ratio consists cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. If RBI wants to further increase the money supply, then it will reduce reserve deposit ratio, and if it wishes to reduce money supply, then it will increase RDI. Population has no relation to money supply. Function of money. Money is defined as anything that is generally accepted as the medium of exchange. In modern economies, money performs following four fundamental functions. मत काटो आगो most essential function: eliminate the need for double coincidence, limitation of barter, facilitate trade by enabling direct exchange, unit of account. unit of account, provide a standard measure to value good and service, enable standard of deferred payment, facilitate credit transition, future payment, loan, wages, rent, benefit in term of money, allow individual to transfer purchasing power from present to future, unlike perishable goods. Money retains value over time, especially fiat money granted by states. Money must be durable, divisible, portable, and uniform to perform these functions. If one of if any one function fails, hyperinflation destroys store of value of money, money loss credibility, money supply refers to total stock of money circulation in an economy at given point of time. At given point of time, major component M1 currency held by public, demand deposit with banking system, other deposit with RBI OD. Formula M1 equal to C plus double D plus OD, more liquid form of money. जो M2 है ना, उसमें M1 में आप सेविंग डिपॉजिट प्लस कर दो पोस्ट ऑफिस वाला, ठीक है। ये मोस्ट लिक्विड होता है, M1 मोस्ट लिक्विड और M2 इंटरमीडिएट लिक्विड। देन M1 प्लस में टाइम डिपॉजिट विद बैंक, M3 इक्वल टू M1 प्लस में टाइम डिपॉजिट। M3 is most commonly used as an indicator of money supply. M3 total deposit with post office saving banks excluding MNC. Monetary aggregate distinction. M1 and M2 emphasize liquidity, and M3 and M4 emphasize total saving and potential money creation. Credit creation and money multiplier. Bank create more money by accepting deposit and lending a portion after keeping reserves. Bank create money by accepting deposit and lending a portion after keeping reserves. ठीक है, इसको भी क्या certification money multiplier. High power money versus money multiplier. What is high power money? High power money, also known as a reserve money or base money, is essential source of money supply in the economy. It is controlled directly by the Reserve Bank of India. Component of high power money: currency held by the public, cash reserve of bank with RBI. ठीक है, cash equal to C plus में R. This money is termed high power money because it acts as a foundation for further money creation. So gently. So like per level. Then creation and money multiplier. Commercial banks play critical role in credit creation, heart of India's zero area. Modern when banks increase a deposit keep a fraction as a result required as well as lend out the remaining portion. The borrowing spend this money to be deposited in the bank to purchase insurance. Multiply and mutual deposit. Service interrelation with high-powered means creation non-modified. H is base RBI provides through printing currency injecting the bank use H to make loans. Simplified the structure. Actual mining population. ठीक है. So then the money multiplier will depend on the how currency hold public deposit. Banks using limit RBI control multiplier by influence SCLR technical listening तरीके पर the money transfer deposit further money creation through banks use X to create multiple times. When M is the total multiplier typically NCD credit creation ठीक है. Thank you.